Let's make some cheesecake.
It has been a while since I made a Japanese cheesecake, and I genuinely forgot how fun these were to make. So this recipe I'm using is in grams. I'm so used to things being in cups. I know when you weigh out the ingredients, it makes it much more accurate, and also it's less dishes to wash because you don't have to wash all the measuring cups and measuring spoons, but I found that it takes more time for me to hit the exact number of grams than if I were to just use a cup. But let me know in the comments, do you like making recipes that are in grams or in cups? Now I'm gonna separate the eggs. I somehow broke all 3 of the yolks while I was separating this, so when I had to mix them in one at a time, I had to kind of estimate how much one yolk is. Part of why I love making Japanese cheesecake so much is because the batter is so fluffy, because you have to whip up the egg whites until they're stiff peaks and then you fold that into the batter, which makes it so fluffy and light, and it's just so fun to mix. Next I'm gonna mix up my milk, and I'm gonna add in my dry ingredients, which this is one of the only recipes where I will sift my dry ingredients into my wet ingredients because this is such a light, delicate cheesecake that I don't want any chunks of flour into the final product. Now I'm gonna whip up the egg whites. This is one of my favorite parts. I'm mixing some cream of tartar, which don't ask me what that is. I genuinely have no idea. I was surprised it was a powder and not cream. Apparently it's supposed to stabilize your egg whites or something like that. Also, fun fact, if you whip your egg whites to stiff peaks, you can flip the bowl over and nothing will fall out. I thought that was so cool. Next, I'm going to mix in the egg whites into the batter. Fold gently. Don't do what I did in the first clip. I was being really aggressive there. But you want to maintain the structure of the egg white so that you don't deflate it too much. And look how fluffy the batter is. That makes me so happy. Anyways, now I'm going to grease and line the pan. Since this is such a light cheesecake, I was terrified that this would stick to the pan and not come out. So I made sure to line it with some parchment paper and grease the sides as well. And then I'm going to tap it out just to even it out and get rid of any air bubbles. Then I'm going to fill the pan with some hot water and I'm going to bake this off. The entire time this was baking, I was really hoping that it wouldn't crack in the oven, and thankfully it did not. This cheesecake is actually for a friend, so I'm going to put this into a little box for them. And at one point when I was trying to get it out of the pan, it was not coming out and I was starting to get a little worried, but thankfully I did end up getting it out. Look how perfectly that fits inside the box. And this is how the final cheesecake turned out.